Just to show you, this is my transformation from last year. Last year, my testosterone was at 270 nanograms per deciliter, and then I got it to 870 after 3 months. And I also tripled my free testosterone, which is kind of the most important metric when you look at testosterone. It's safe to say I know enough about testosterone to help you if yours is particularly low. And some signs of knowing whether it's low or not is if you have, like, if you struggle with sex drive, if you struggle with putting on muscle mass, if you're not as strong as maybe you were, and if your energy is lacking maybe. I'm sure you've heard of all the symptoms. I don't want this to be like a basic, oh, if you have low testosterone, these are the 8 signs that you can do, the 8 things that you can do. It's bullshit. We all know that we need to sleep better, we need to eat better, we need to train well. We all know that. That's like common sense. So I just want to put my own take on it and probably give you some information that you haven't heard before. So this channel is aiming at giving you some of the unique stuff that probably isn't out there typically on the internet. Like, for example, a while ago I did a video on estrogenics, and I read a whole book to give you enough information to do that. This was the whole book that I read, and I took notes on a separate piece of paper. But no one really knows about estrogenics and how that can tank your testosterone. No one really knows that something that you might be wearing, like a material like this, for example, I know is bad for testosterone, but I wear it only for the video. This is like, this dry fit material has high estrogenic content in it. There are substances like BPA, which is plastic. There are like plastic additives that are put into this that are harmful for your testosterone. And no one knows that. No one knows that the pants that you might be wearing, the toothbrush that you might be using, the shower gel that you might be using, the aftershave, the perfume is actually probably secretly tanking it. And when you actually get into this whole thing, it makes you very paranoid. I remember a time at home, I refused to use any like plastic Tupperwares or plastic plates or plastic cutlery or anything. I would literally only use like steel, like non-plastic things like this, like bunks like this, like ceramic, like steel, aluminium. I would just be very paranoid about it. And if you do get so obsessed with it, then you're like, well, I can't touch anything at this point. I can't wear anything. So obviously there's a balance between it. But like, the aim of this channel really is to not be like all the other testosterone experts or channels out there that tell you all the basic stuff that's out there. I really like a channel, for example, his name is Ben Winnie, and he basically gives like educational lecture style videos on the very like detailed science on how to like basically improve testosterone in every subcategory that falls under it. But obviously, I'm not going to go into super detail. I will just probably go into the detail and then dumb it down a bit, because I'm no scientist and I don't know enough on the science to give you like science lecture content. But however, what I can do is I know that what's worked for me, and I know that it might not align with the science, but if it works, then I'll tell you about it. I've taken you to my laptop to show you exactly what I'll be basing this channel off and the videos off. Basically, I'll be finding out very niche things that you can do to optimize your testosterone, specifically through these categories here. So there are 4 categories that we can look at to improve testosterone. And I'm literally only going to be focusing on 1, 2, and 3, because 4 drugs, that basically means that we're not doing it naturally. So this isn't going to be looked at. But basically, looking at 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to delve into very specific things that you can do, like from a unique perspective, from things that aren't actually online on the internet that people don't talk about. So, for example, when we look at our lifestyle and behaviors, there are 10 pillars that I kind of say that we can do to increase testosterone. One of them is quite an obvious one, is sleep. But people don't know, when you look at sleep, that actually by doing something like wearing mouth tape and by nasal breathing when you sleep, can dramatically increase your testosterone. That's a very niche thing. We all know to sleep 7 to 9 hours. We all know to sleep at regular times. We all know to like all the other basic information that is on sleep, like not going on your phone before, like sleeping well, basically like not sleeping too late. That's all like common information, but no one knows that if you actually put some tape over your mouth and by nasal breathing, you can dramatically increase your quality of sleep. And that will increase testosterone, because actually nasal breathing and testosterone have a very there's a link there. So if you improve nasal breathing, you improve your testosterone. And even mouth breathing can fuck up your breath. It can make your breath worse. It can improve the chance of heart issues. Nasal breathing can improve the structure of your jawline. Mouth breathers, a lot of the time, when they breathe through their mouth, they don't work like all of these muscles here, and they actually have that I listened to from an Andrew Huberman podcast. He basically said, if you mouth breathe, you become more unattractive. This bit protrudes and you become more looking like a chipmunk, basically. And I saw this because I've used the mouth tape for a year, and I could see like a visible change in the shape of my face even. So for example, looking at the specifics of sleep, another pillar is like getting sunlight. We all know that sunlight is good for us, but a lot of people don't know that there are specific times that you can go outside that can actually benefit your testosterone. There are specific times that we should be going outside, specifically in the morning, within like the first hour of waking up, and in the evening to get like an evening reference point. Because going outside at these times set what's called the circadian rhythm, which is like your sleep-wake cycle, and we've been evolved to have to know when it is during the day. That's why when people get tortured, like I'm not sure if it still happens, but if people get tortured, they're put in a dark room or a room with no sunlight. So their brain gets so fucked up that they don't know what time of day it is, they get confused, their body shuts down, because we need these reference points from outside to set our circadian rhythm, which is like the way that our cavemen evolved to know like what time it is when it's dark. That's why if it's dark, typically you'll start falling asleep. And if it's light, for example, if you sleep with your window open, or if you sleep facing the sunlight or facing a window, you'll get woken up naturally when it starts getting light. And you might think that's common sense, but why? We've evolved to wake up when it becomes light, because the sign of sunlight is a sign that our cavemen had that tells them that it's time to wake up and carry on with the day. So like specifics about diet, even what diets do you follow? There's keto, there's carnivore, there's paleo, all these diets. There are so many supplements to go into. So basically I'm just going to give you information that isn't out there on the internet, information that I've had to go through on my own and found from the crevices of the internet, maybe you could say that. If we look at like an example that we had from sleep, the detail that I go into in my online course will show you exactly how to, like all the information that's in there, all the specifics are in here. If I went to any random pathway in my course and I go to the testosterone section and I find, for example, the bit where I talk about sleep, I'll show you like all the specific things that you can do that it's like a dummy's guide for testosterone basically. That's why I made it. The number one is sleep. These are the summarized. So this is an example. If I look into sleep, these are all the details, all the specific details of sleep that you can see right here on the left. So like all the things that you can do, the habits that you can do. Don't eat 3 hours before bed, 1 hour cut off for dopamine, 3 p.m. caffeine cut off. This is like perfect sleep, complete darkness, a cool room, tape over your mouth, tape over your nose. How you can set your circadian rhythm. And I explain it all in this testosterone focused module. So I went a bit off track there, but that's just to give you an idea of all the things that isn't out there, that aren't out there on the internet, that I'm going to be providing on this channel, in this resource. So a lot of this is unknown, and a lot of this will speed up your journey, because there's so much basic info out there that people are so tired of hearing. Like, we know we have to sleep, we know we have to eat like well and not eat burgers every day, we know we have to lift weights, and we know we have to exercise, but there are so many other like specifics that isn't out there. So this is going to be assuming that you know all the specifics, and then I'm just going to go into more detail and then dumb it down even further, and then dumb it down for dumb people, because I'm a dumb person and I need to know dumb information, and I need to know information that's dumbed down. So I'm just going to give you the information that's dumbed down as well. So that's all for now, and until next time, bye.